In the veiled realms of the night, an elusive figure perches silently, the Nyctibius Griseus, known as the common Potoo. Join us on a mesmerizing journey into the nocturnal world of this enigmatic bird, as we delve into its evolutionary history, ecological significance, and the challenges it confronts. Silently perched atop a lichen-draped branch in neotropical forests, the peculiar common Potoo remains largely impervious to human detection despite its considerable size. With uncanny camouflage concealing its bizarre form, this nocturnal bird of prey has long defied casual observation across its extensive range spanning from Mexico to Argentina. Even indigenous cultures weave the Potoo into mystical folklore as a harbinger of souls departing the earth. Such reactions arise understandably from this unsettling creature's strange appearance, nocturnal habits, and selective secretiveness. While related to nightjars, Potoos stand apart in both appearance and behavior, their unique suite of traits marking an unmistakable evolutionary pathway aligned to the ecological conditions shaping tropical forests over tens of millions of years. Join us on an exploration into the enigmatic realm of the Potoo, an underappreciated marvel of natural history relatively unstudied until recent times compared to more conspicuous counterparts like owls or hawks. We'll unravel the Potoo's distinct evolutionary lineage, bizarre yet finely honed morphology precisely engineered for effortless concealment and ambush predation within dense environments, and intimate behaviors surrounding breeding and parental care virtually unrivaled among birds for their physiological commitment. Often overlooked, the furtive nature and sensitivity of Potoos underscores their irreplaceability as specialized denizens of intact forest ecosystems. As the forests fall silent to human encroachment, will this peculiar lineage wink out as well unwitnessed and unmourned amidst broader diminishments of wild nature? Evolutionary History. Common Potoos belong to an ancient avian lineage tracing roots back over 60 million years to the Paleocene epoch shortly after the mass extinction erasing non-avian dinosaurs. Anatomical studies of well-preserved fossils have identified Potoos, Nyctibidae, and their close relatives the oilbird, Steatornithidae, as forming one of the most basal clades branching off from the progenitor lineages of all modern birds scantly following this tumultuous transition. The ancestors of Potoos exhibited extreme nocturnal specialization early on, filling vacant nocturnal insectivore niches left vacant after the dinosaur extinction on the ancient supercontinent of Gondwana as flowering plants began radiating. Over the subsequent Eocene epoch spanning 38 to 58 million years ago, the evolutionary lines ultimately giving rise to Potoos proliferated across landmasses connected from South America westward towards Antarctica and Australia, leaving descendant Potoo-like lineages behind in all of the resultant fragments as plate tectonics slowly unzipped Gondwanaland apart. Only a single genus, Nyctibius, survived intact into the modern era, comprised of 7 extant species with the common Potoo exhibiting the broadest distribution from Mexico to northern Argentina. This relict distribution reconstructed through phylogenetics hints at the once global prominence of Potoos as a lineage, now largely restricted to humid neotropics and austral regions like Australia and New Guinea where their close relatives persist. Upon initial inspection, an encounter with a Potoo at night in the rainforest could induce sensations of unresolved alarm or uncertainty through the eyes of an unfamiliar human observer. Standing upright and camouflaged vertically among arboreal branches, the Potoo exhibits a surreal, almost artificial humanoid form accentuated with remarkable anatomical specializations. An exceptionally wide gape designed for superior insect capture remains hidden behind intricate plumage of delicately patterned grays, browns, blacks, and cream rippling vertically down the length of the body. Elongated bristle-like rictile plumes extend from the corners of the mouth while a crown of stiff hair-like filiplumes caps the crown, features used for channeling prey into the gaping maw and potentially serving roles in sexual ornaments. The Potoo's hyper-camouflaged upright concealment posture bridges anatomical specializations oriented nearly perpendicular to the horizontal planes exhibited by most avian species. 2 abnormally long toes point directly forward while balancing the squarely positioned body weight on short anisodactyl legs better suited for perching than walking. Proportionately miniaturized wings fold tightly against the body, while the vertebrally extended body plan facilitates profound physiological and behavioral adaptations appropriate to a sedentary predatory lifestyle remaining motionless for virtually unlimited durations while torpid. Perhaps the most striking feature is the vividly large eyes directed frontally for refined binocular vision extending across an extraordinarily broad arc ideal for sweeping almost 360-degree panoramic vigilance in complete darkness. Few organisms exhibit such an incredibly specialized sensory system and body plan refinement dedicated to a singular nocturnal predatory lifestyle. Ecology. With its basal position on the avian evolutionary tree, Potoos represent highly specialized nocturnal aerial insectivores originally tuned to exploit insects emerging in abundance across primordial Gondwanan forests and woodlands over 65 million years ago. Following the mass extinction paving the way for efflorescence of flowering plant and insect diversity in the relative absence of dinosaur competitors, Potoos likely expanded into a range of invertebrate pest control services participating in newly opened niches across what are now the southern hemisphere continents of South America, Africa, Antarctica, Australia, and India. Today in the neotropics, the widespread common potoo serves as the preeminent nocturnal ambush predator of insects like moths, beetles, crickets, and even large cicadas up to lengths of 2 to 3 inches. Potoos locate prey almost entirely through acute hearing of wing beats, stridulations, and calls while perched with eyes closed. Their broad gapes allow consumption of nearly any insect they encounter within reach. Providing important regulation of nocturnal insect populations, Potoos exert modest top-down ecological pressures sculpting invertebrate abundance and diversity profiles within forest ecosystems. But predators remain few. Hawks, owls, mammals and snakes pose substantial threats only towards nestlings. Despite their relatively expansive tropical ranges, Potoos remain highly sensitive to human disturbances like deforestation and pesticides which rapidly deplete available prey sources. Loss of forest cover additionally exposes their forms tuned for camouflage within intact environments. With relatively low reproductive outputs by avian standards, laying only a single egg annually in successive breeding events, recovering from large-scale insults targeting forest ecosystems becomes highly protracted. Habitat and behavior. Found across broadleaf forests spanning virtually all elevations below 2,000 meters stretching from Mexico through Central America and into South America as far as northern Argentina, common potoos inhabit some of the most diverse ecosystems remaining on the planet. Their core range centers upon the vast tracts of humid tropical rainforest still enveloping the Amazon basin and surrounding highlands in countries like Brazil, Colombia, Peru, and Ecuador. But potoos additionally infiltrate subtropical pine oak forests of Mexico and montane cloud forests of the northern Andes as well as both xeric scrublands and seasonally inundated wetlands bordering humid lowlands. Forest interiors featuring suitable sheltered perches amidst partial canopy cover optimize conditions suiting their furtive lifestyles. A near-total aversion to open spaces and eclectically omnivorous diet including nocturnal insects, small rodents, frogs, lizards and even fruits reflects the extreme behavioral and dietary flexibility retained from their opportunistic ancestral origins dating back before the age of dinosaurs over 100 million years ago. Yet for a species so temporally expansive, potoos maintain surprisingly conservative reproductive strategies focused narrowly on intensive biparental care invested into one single offspring annually over an incredibly protracted multi-month period from nesting through fledging. During courtship and egg fertilization, males perform a haunting song reminiscent of a series of mournful whistles or mellow whoops from the vocal cords that segues into a low droning were mixed with wing-thumping sounds, displays amplified further during territorial challenges from male rivals. Following successful breeding, a single elongated pale egg is deposited onto a flat stump or branch lined by rudimentary nesting materials like leaves, moss, and bark. Both males and females share continuous incubation duties lasting nearly a month through risks like snakes and small mammals targeting eggs. The newly hatched potoo chick exhibits extraordinary anatomical specializations that augment intensive parental investment, elongate hooked rictal bristles protruding from the corners of the mouth and cradling rictal flanges line the potoo's enormous proportional gape. Adaptations evolved specifically to facilitate direct delivery of solid insect and meat provisions from both parents for 60 to 90 days until the altricial chick fully fledges and gains independence. Conclusion. For tens of millions of years, the potoo lineage of predatory birds have carved out their ecological niche as sentinel nocturnal ambush hunters effortlessly camouflaged atop forest branches guarding undisturbed tropical ecosystems. Their persistence stamps time immemorial in deep antiquity before flowering plants even existed or dinosaurs grew extinct. Today their survival relies on the tranquility of the landscapes they have always inhabited, the stable epiphyte-draped forests and intact prey communities preserved solely through geographic isolation or protection from human incursions. And yet surpassing the unique evolutionary origins and biology of this crepuscular marvel is the larger truth held within their decline. We cannot afford to lose intact regional wilderness across the neotropics or any associated array of irreplaceable endemic species. What becomes of the potoo foreshadows the ongoing erosion of biodiversity and ecological resiliency underway across the Amazon basin and wider spans of developing tropical nations. singing a whistled morning song audible only as civilization uncorals its tendrils while the last primary forests fall silent. The Potoo bids farewell ironically in the vaudevillian modal cosmological tongue of indigenous ancestry, another phantasmal emissary guiding those willing to heed the wake-up calls before the Anthropocene deletes us all. Under the guise of progress for human enrichment, what we lose holds intrinsic worth beyond measurement as the last genetic legacies of tens of millions of years, unique evolutionary solutions scarcely understood, never perfected again. If we cannot set aside protected areas maintaining habitat connectivity and enforcing anti-poaching laws for such specialized endemic species like the Potoo, then we abandon our own future prospects when the forests fall. For the Potoo's continued existence is inextricably linked to ecological health spanning terrestrial, freshwater, and atmospheric spheres across a biogeographic scale, forms of resilience required to endure and lessen climate change while sustaining humanity's greatest hopes for the future. The fate of the Potoo is our own. Their disappearance foreshadows the death cry of the planet we have not earned the infinite privilege to inherit unless our unwavering care honors these living sentinels of deep time immemorial.